All right, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're gonna do something a little different. You guys have seen the bag videos recently, but I have a pair of 3D pieces to do for a fishing tournament. It is a permit fishing tournament, so we're gonna do a 24-inch by 24-inch and a 36-inch by 12-inch permit painting. I'm gonna do the permit. It's gonna be popped off the canvas a little bit, and then it's gonna have protruding fins. It's gonna be multiple 3D pieces with the water lines and stuff. So join me, let's check this out. My first step is getting these two panels prepped. I'm gonna gesso them, get them sanded down a little bit. So first things first, let's get in our sanding drawer. The good thing is these panels are pre-done. I usually make my own panels, but for this kind of time constraint issue that I'm having at the moment between my work list and this, I bought some panels through Blick, so we're just gonna give these a quick sand. I'm gonna get some gesso here, and the next step is just getting these covered, coated in white. Gesso is basically just subsurface, kind of like a primer, but it's kind of like an artist grade thing. So I really like the texture that these foam rollers provide. This is like a 4-inch foam roller. It's super cheap. I get them at like Harbor Freight or whatnot. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cover this as much as I can. And for some reason over the years, I really like what these foam rollers and this gesso do together. They give me a really nice like surface texture that I enjoy painting on. It's got a little bit of a tooth to it. So that's what I've preferred over the past few years. So I just kind of stuck with it from there. All right, there it is. Both coats are done and ready to go. I'm pretty excited about this project, and as soon as this cures, we're gonna sand them down and we're gonna show you the painting process and the 3D process that I'm gonna put into these two paintings for the tournament. I don't do this often, but I'm gonna head out and do a little solo fishing today. I brought one fly rod and one spinning rod. We're gonna see how things go. It looks a little windy, so I'm gonna do my best, see what happens, but I'm just kind of getting a get out on the water mental break kind of thing, so let's see how it goes. So I got one here. I've got a couple other little spots I want to try before I get out of here. Let's make a quick move, see what happens. 100% my fault. Good snook too. We got a twofer. Nice looking snook there. We'll take that. All right, let's let him go. All right, that's the second snook I found. So I'm pretty excited. The first one was pretty big, but I only had like 16-pound leader on. Kind of dumb on my part, but switched over to 30. Let's see how that pans out. Try for a few more. There's a nice little bay in here. I'm going to cruise around and see what happens. In his gill. Good snook. Oh God, he's going under the trees. Get out of there, get out of there, get out of there, get out of there. This is a circus. Let's go, that's a good snook. I'm gonna stop for a second. I do not have spot lock, so anchor in really quick. Woo! That one definitely made me nervous. That's a good snook there. Hold on, buddy. There we go. Look at that. Let's get a close-up of that one. Decent fish. I'll take it. Let's put him on the stick, see what he actually is. Ooh, looks like 24, maybe 25 on the stick if we pinch. We pinch it 0. We're gonna head down 25. That's a nice fish. Let's let him go. Let's get him in the water here. So something I do when I'm working on these 3D paintings is I try to line things up on the panel so you guys can see there's a little bit of dusted spray paint. The reason I do this is I need to know how far down I need to paint the sky, and then everything below this is going to be covered by wood, so I probably won't paint below this area. I'll build the sky up here just so you'd never be able to see down. And then here, I dusted it with a little spray paint so I know where the fish is going to line up. I know where the water line is going to line up. So everything above this line is going to be foliage and going to be water line. And then as I get down here, this will be my whole underwater area. So that little bit of dusting with the spray paint gives me a good reference on where I need to place and paint things as I go. So I'm gonna finish working on this little permit right here. I've got some white highlights to do, but I also like to use this interference. So this is like an iridescent violet and then an iridescent green. I'm gonna use both of these to create that kind of shimmer that you see when you have a permit out of the water and they kind of have that iridescent glow to them. So I really enjoy using these in my permit, my tarpon. Sometimes I use it in almost any fish that has that like scaly iridescence. False albacore, things like that. So I'm gonna put those in here. I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's done. I'll give you a little pan by so you guys can see how that iridescence kind of reflects in the fish. I've mixed a little bit of the green and a little bit of the purple together to kind of give it that shimmer. This is a very transparent color. So once it's applied, you will see that it only gives the shimmer. It doesn't create like a new color. But keep in mind, you can take this iridescent green, this iridescent purple, this iridescent blue, and you can mix it with opaque, non-transparent colors in order to create new iridescent colors. So I find that they mix really well with white, and they give white like a new shimmer and a new shine. But I found if you mix it with carbon black or bone black, you'll actually get a really, really bright iridescent color that shines through the black regardless of how opaque the black is. It'll actually transform the black instead of the black overpowering the translucent color. So we'll pan past this, and this isn't a super meticulous, detailed way to do this. I really kind of just fluff it in there and kind of do it unintentionally as much as possible, so it has like a natural shimmer to it instead of a super calculated, meticulous look. So we'll go over that. Let me not knock this off the wall. And I'm gonna put just a little bit in the side fin as well. And then we'll take this out in the sun and we'll take a look at it exactly how it is. And you guys will see when you tilt it and turn it, how really cool it looks. It gives the painting a really awesome effect. All right, so now that we're out in the sun, I'm gonna let this kind of turn a little bit. I'll let you see kind of the reflective. See, there's not a lot of meticulous pattern making to it, but you see it creates that nice iridescent green-blue shift. So that's what we're looking for in permit. I think it came out great. All right, so the fish is painted. I've got my background up here next. So I'm gonna do like a mangrove scene here with obviously some palm trees. And then I'll start my underwater scene. So you guys can see where my water line is. I'll probably just paint up to that with like a blue and then bring it down. And then you can see kind of where the outline of the permit is going to be. And he'll sit off about, I don't know, 1.5 inches. So let's go. All right, so on the background and the underwater scene, I'm gonna take my clear coat and I'm only gonna clear coat the underwater area. I'm not going to clear coat up here where the trees are. So I think that gives it a cool underwater look, and we're gonna go for that. I'll show you guys how it looks when it's done. All right, hello up there. I figured this would be a cool angle for you guys. This piece only has the fish as the 3D layer. So I'm gonna do that one first. It's gonna take about 2 seconds, nothing special. And then once I have it framed in, I've got a small little crab fly I'm gonna put in here and run a line over the side, kind of make it look like he's chasing the fly. This piece is a whole lot simpler than the other one, and then once this one's glued together, we'll move on and we'll put together the other one. I think it has like 5 or 6 pieces. Some of them are already together, but the main ones, like the background, the water line, and the fish, those are all gonna get put together. Let's make it happen. So here we are with the second piece. This is gonna have the background layer with the foliage. That's gonna pop up about 3/4 of an inch. So I'm gonna cut two pieces that fit here, go here and here, that will hold up that background, give you a little bit of shadow. I'm gonna switch you guys over to time lapse because this is gonna take a little bit to cut all these pieces down, get everything, and get them all glued in. I've got everything together. I've got these two pieces glued up because I want them attached to the fish, and then I'll probably throw a support right here. And then once the frame is in, that'll all line up and look nice. But I like how the water line kind of like bends and bows as well as the fish. I put two spacers in the back and one in the front. This is gonna look super cool once it's framed in. Both 3D pieces are already put together. Everything's dried for a while. I'm ready to start framing. I found this really nice cedar. I think it's it's actually nice and straight for once. Usually I gotta deal with this warped wood and all this crap, but this stuff is actually really nice. I'm gonna frame it in. This is about 5.5 inches deep. So what that'll do is that'll give me a nice little border around the entire painting to protect all the 3D pieces. And then for the smaller one, I'll probably rip it down a little bit just so it's not so much overhang. And we'll go from there. Let's cut these down. So I'm gonna frame the smaller one next, but as you guys see, this is way too deep and way too thick. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and cut everything for the outside, and then once I have them all cut, I'll put them in the salt, and I'm gonna rip them down to probably the depth to where it'll protect this fin right here. So I'll measure that out, see how deep it is, and then cut it that depth. As you can see, that's way too thick. Now I'm gonna add the fly in here. I had one I liked, but I think I'm gonna get a different one. I'm gonna look at my box, see if I can find one, and then I'll run it in here. It's so hot out here, I had to take my glasses off. So I've got this fly tied, and I want it right about here. So I'm gonna mark that, because I wanna pull this line tight. So I'm gonna mark that, I'm gonna pull this out. That's where I want it to stop. So I'm gonna create a knot here. I don't know how I'm gonna create this knot, but I'm gonna figure it out here. This looks like somewhat of a way to do this. And this is gonna be a smidge shorter than what I wanted to do, but I think that'll be okay. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. The knot is here. And I've kind of pushed this through the frame a little bit. I'm gonna cut this tag end off. Done, done. All right, so now we're gonna pull tension on the fly all the way to the knot. And then I'm gonna glue this little guy down right here. So I'm gonna move these silly legs, because definitely want the silly legs out. I want this to look good. So I'm gonna pull them up like this, pull them up like that. We're gonna put a decent amount of glue on the eyes, right there on the eyes, and then through the body. I want it to kind of saturate and make a bead and not get it on my fingers. And I just bumped you. All right, so there's that. And I'm gonna hold it down for just a minute, and then I'm gonna move these silly legs. All right, I think that's tight enough with the line. All right, I'm all finished up. The 24 by 24 is finished. It has all its layers in there. You guys can see the iridescence. The frame is about 5.5 inches wide, so that's gonna help protect all the 3D features of the artwork, especially during shipping. This is gonna get sent down to the Florida Keys. And then the second one is 36 inches by 12 inches. It's quite a bit smaller. The permit's in there, he's cute, and then the fly is there. I think that turned out really nice. Feel free to drop down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. I really appreciate you guys sticking around. If you've made it to here, be sure to comment down below, hit subscribe, hit like, show it some love. I really appreciate you guys joining me on my fishing and art journeys. Until next time.